Hey everybody, it's Marleigh, and I was going to say and Levi, but I have two now, Levi and Batman, and neither of them are up here, they're all both downstairs. But I went out today with another handler, friend of mine, Lexi, and we went to Walmart, and we had an encounter that just kind of reminded me how uneducated a lot of people are about the laws surrounding service dogs. We had been out all day. Both of our dogs had been in their gear all day long. We'd gone to the pet store, and we had to drop into Walmart to get some cat food. And so we're in there getting the food. We go through the garden section, walk in, grab the food, and we're waiting. And we didn't vest our dogs at all. I had a tag on my dog's leash that said service dog, do not distract. She didn't have anything on hers. Both dogs were behaving perfectly fine, nothing like that. So we get up to the front of the line, and the cashier comments, "Oh, I'm surprised they let you in here with those dogs." And Lexi says, "Why? They're service dogs." And she goes on and on, not Lexi, the lady goes on and on about this, how, no, they have to have the jacket on that says service dog. Because we sell food here, we sell meat, and the health department keeps on top of us, and we have to, they can't be in here. And we tried about 6 different times to correct her, and explain to her that by law, ADA law, we are not required to vest our dogs. We're not required to put anything on them that says that they're service dogs. Most people do, because honestly, it makes our lives a lot easier if we aren't stopped every 5 seconds asking or saying, you can't have your dog in here. It just makes it easier. But I know there's a lot of people that live in warm, especially down here. It's normally a really warm climate down here. We've had a lot of rain, so it hasn't been lately. But if you live somewhere where it gets to over 100 degrees in the summer and you have a long-haired German Shepherd, you're going to want to use a bandana maybe, or a leash slide, or something that's, not going to overheat your dog. And you're allowed to do that. But this lady just couldn't. It was one of those things that we kind of had to accept that you just can't get through to some people and leave it at that. But, and I even tried to explain to her. I was like, yes, that's correct. If they were not service dogs, they would not be allowed to be in here. Because she was saying, if it's a pet store and everything, then they can come in, but not here. And so I tried to explain to her that that's true. As far as the health department is concerned, that if they were not service dogs, they would not be permitted in here because there's a sale of food and it's a health code violation. But it just wasn't gelling up here, apparently. So I don't know if she had been misinformed by management or what exactly the issue was. Lexi went and just wrote a comment to that particular Walmart saying, hey, you need to re-educate your employees, this is incorrect. Just hopefully avoid that for somebody else, just in case. And it also brings up the topic that someone asked recently, and they said, why is it such an inconvenience to vest your dog? Like, why do people not do it? And I already kind of talked about for overheating purposes, but my take on vesting is that I usually do, because like I said, I don't want the confrontation. I want to go about my life, go about my shopping just like anybody else. And I don't, especially with having psychiatric stuff going on, I don't want someone stopping me and having that confrontation every 5 seconds saying, you can't have your dog in here, is that a service dog? So I just try to avoid it. I label him, I put do not pet all over him, everything like that. Both of them I do. But it is true, it is a matter of law that I do not have to do that. I could walk in there with him on a flat collar and leash with nothing dictating him as a service dog, and when they stop me, they could ask me, is that a service dog? And what does he do to mitigate your disability? I would answer those 2 questions and be on my way. And they could do nothing about it, which is a good thing and it's a bad thing. On the one hand, with the Walmart situation, I was happy that she sort of knew something about it, because a lot of Walmarts you see all the time, especially like on Instagram and things like that, people bringing their dogs that aren't service dogs just into Walmart. They'll put them in the shopping carts, they'll take them to the aisles. I read a story on Facebook from another handler. He works as a greeter at Walmart. Somewhere, I don't know where, and he said that there was a guy that brought his dog in that was lunging and barking aggressively at his dog, at him, at other customers. It was peeing on things, but he was not, he was on the clock, and they told his manager didn't care, and he wasn't allowed to say anything about it. So I was glad this lady at least was trying to keep pets out of the store. That was something, but unfortunately she was misinformed on what the actual laws were, which happens a lot. But still, and this is the sad part, she still knew more about, she was more informed than a lot of people I've seen. It's, I don't work him unvested often, but I will say that the few times that I have taken either of my dogs inside a no pets allowed store with them unvested, I have not been stopped once or been asked one question. Except for maybe when I get to the checkout. But I walk past a zillion employees. And I would like to believe it's because my dogs are so well behaved, but I know that's not it. I know that they just don't want to ask. They're afraid to ask because they've had lawsuits, and they, what Lexi even told me, and I'm not sure if this is true at every Walmart or not, but she said that she talked to someone that used to work there, and that only management is allowed to ask if it's a service dog or anything like that. The actual employees can't do anything about it. So unfortunately, it seems to me like either they're allowing every dog in, or they're taking dogs that are obviously legitimate, obviously labeled, and trying to kick them out. And there just doesn't seem to be a whole lot of in-between. We've had very few access challenges in the time I've been working in Lay-By, and now Batman. I haven't had many at all. And most of the places that I have had them are smaller places. It's not big corporate chains. But again, the sad thing is about that is it's not because they're educated. It's because they're scared. And that can put real handlers in danger. Their dog's in harm's way. It can leave them liable for bites, for health code violations, for all kinds of different things. So that's just kind of my take on it. That was our experience tonight. I'm hoping that they will do a little re-education. She gave them the ADA laws and, all that kind of stuff, just so they're aware, in case someone comes in that can't handle that confrontation, that they don't have to vest their dog. Again, we always go invested. Very, very rarely do we not, just because it makes life easier for everybody that way. But yeah, so I also kind of wanted to maybe start a series on common misconceptions about service dogs. So this one obviously being that they have to be labeled, they have to wear a vest, which is not true. So if you guys have any other maybe things that you've heard a lot, things that people have asked you, questions that you have that you always thought was true, just leave it below and I can answer them. I can do a video on them. I can find them. It'll all be based on the ADA as well. I'm not even going to really go into state law or anything like that because I know you guys are all over. So yeah, just let us know what you want to hear about, and we will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.